guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Anna Sophia if you're new here, and if you are new, please consider subscribing. My husband and I are a military family who recently bought a house and moved from Scottsdale, Arizona to Washington, D.C. Come along with us as we decorate, organize, DIY, and deep clean this new house on a budget in the series From House to Home. In this video, you're going to see some very easy DIYs to style bookshelves. We are going to start off by making a face silhouette planter. I saw this idea on Pinterest, so I'll make sure I link their blog post in the description below. And very minimal supplies are needed. You essentially just need a planter and some clay. So the first thing I needed to do for my specific pot was I wanted it to be like a matte black. So I'm using this one by Rust-Oleum in Farmhouse Black. And then I just had to prep my clay, so I'm just cutting off a little section and rolling it out so I get a pretty flat surface. And then I'm just taking a box cutter. If you have an X-Acto knife, use that. And then I'm just kind of constructing the shape of a face, like a jawline, an eyebrow, a nose, just little things that'll make it look like a face when I attach it to my pot. Once I got the face shape that I really liked, I just needed to put it on some aluminum foil and bake it. I just followed the baking instructions on the clay. I think it was bake at 245 for 15 minutes. I'll make sure I link the clay that I used in the description below as well. And after the clay kind of hardened, it was time for me to hot glue my face shape on the planter. And I just love how this little guy came out. I think he is just so cute. He looks so cute on the little shelf with the little plant inside. And I feel like this is something you could totally see at Urban Outfitters. It's kind of hipster, abstract, but it was free for me because I already had the clay and the pot and the paint. So definitely recommend this one. Very easy to recreate. Next up, we are going to make some cork wall art. I feel like wine corks are something that, especially now, everybody has at home. And all you really need to do with these bad boys is slice them down the middle. If you have wire cutters, that would be ideal, but I could not find mine, so I just use a knife. After you've split your corks in half, you just kind of want to lay them out so you can kind of see what shape or design you want to put onto your canvas using a hot glue gun. For this, you can really do whatever shape you want, whatever goes with your house, but in that room, I wanted to keep it kind of abstract and geometric, so I wanted to do these triangles, and I'm just gluing them down to make the shape outside of the triangle first, and then filling in the rest with the rest of the cork. You may have to cut some of the corks down to fit within whatever shape you want, but I would get your outline done first and then fill in the rest. After you're all hot glued down, I wanted to make this one solid color because I didn't want like the different labels from the corks to show through, and I already had a lot of black on that bookcase already, so I wanted to make it bright and more textural than anything else. And then we're just gonna give it a once over with some white spray paint, and this was how it turned out. I love this because I feel like it totally blends into the back of the shelf, but also pops out at the same time. So giving it that kind of 3D effect, which is what I was going for. Next up, we are gonna make an Edison bulb shelf lamp. You do need a couple more things for this DIY, but I'm just gonna actually take the guts from an old lamp because I don't wanna spend the money and buy a lamp making kit off Amazon, and then I have this old Indian's tin. Those are like the two main things that you need for this DIY. So if you don't have every single thing I use, if you have these two things, you can do this. So the first thing I needed to do was find the center of the bottom of this tin because I need to drill a 1.5-inch hole through the middle. After I found the center using the bottom, I just took a hammer and a nail so I knew when I was going to drill from the inside out where the center actually was. So I'm taking a 1.5-inch drill bit and just drilling a hole directly into some spare wood that I had lying around. Now that my hole's drilled out, it's time to get the guts out from this lamp. So the lamp itself is made of plastic, but there's this like concrete substance that they use on the inside. So I just need to hammer all that out so then that way I can cut through the plastic. As you can see, I'm just using the hammer like halfway down and below. I'm not taking my hammer anywhere up top by the actual electrical. And as you can see, it was a raging success. I got my electrical out, but you just want to be careful, so just make sure you wear all the right equipment. But yes, save some money, always a good time. So now I actually should have probably done this in the beginning when I drilled the first hole, but I have to drill a hole now off to the side so the electrical can come out so you can plug it into the wall. So I'm just using that same drill bit, drilling a hole right through there, so you can actually see this one a little bit better than the other one of how the drill bit actually works. And now it's just time to feed your electrical through, and it is done. You have a working lamp, and I had to spend $0 to do it. So that's a win-win for me. Next up, I really wanted to make this sort of like lunar phases wall art that I saw on Pinterest. So you need a sponge of sorts. Comment down below if you know what this sponge is actually supposed to be used for. So right now I'm just cutting around to make the shape of a circle, which is also the shape of the moon. So I'm just cutting around until I get that perfect circle shape. I have my white paint off to the side, as you can see, ready to go. It's just your typical white acrylic paint, and I'm going to be using a black canvas that I already had. I just needed to measure the canvas to find where each moon would need to go. This is an 11 by 14, so I needed to kind of do a little bit of math here and figure out exactly where they needed to go so that they would be symmetrical. So now I'm just marking the about placement where each moon needs to go, and taking my sponge, I'm just dipping each one in the center of where I marked. So basically now what you're gonna do is you're gonna grab less white paint on your little sponge to make it more black towards the end of the sequence. So that's how the phases of the moon work, right? So you have a full moon, a little bit less, and so on and so forth. So then if you make a mistake, don't worry about it. It's an abstract, it's supposed to be an interpretation of sorts, if you will. So you can just add black, add white to wherever you need to. And then basically you just keep going, mixing those two colors until you get the look that you feel like looks the closest thing to the phases of the moon. Now it's just time to let it dry, and here is the finished result. Styled on the bookshelf, I think it gives off this really like abstract celestial vibe, and it looks great. Very happy with it, and anybody could do this. And lastly, I just needed to make some matching gold accessories. You want your bookshelves to look cohesive but sort of haphazard in a way as well, but you want to have a theme going through. So I wanted to paint all of these random objects in my house this gold color. And as you can see, there was nothing wrong with these items originally. They weren't stained or damaged or anything like that, but I just wanted to give them a very cohesive feeling, so then that way when it's on the shelf, it looks like I bought them as a set, when I really didn't. Sometimes that's all it is. It's just changing the color of what something was. So also the internal of the shelf had gold. This was a built-in, this was here when we moved here. So, and also our door handles are gold. So instead of going around and changing all those things, you sort of want to adapt to your house as well. So I wanted to kind of bring out those vintage aspects of my house. And this is how the bookshelf turned out. I'm so happy with it. If you guys ever want me to do a video solely on shelf styling, please leave me a comment down below. As I've mentioned before, I'm not an interior designer or professional, anything like that. I'm just a registered nurse who loves to DIY. And that is it for today, guys. I hope this gave you some inspiration to get the confidence to style shelves. I know it's really hard, but I know you can do it too. And if you make things on your own, it saves you a ton of money. And sometimes it's just, there's so many options when you're buying stuff that if you just kind of use what you already have, it saves you the headache. If you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button because I would love your support, and I will see you guys next Sunday to see the second half of this room. Okay guys, bye.